Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 4 of DIY Strongman Log. Now if you haven't watched the other 3 episodes, I will have this video added to a playlist, as well as you can click on video 1, 2, or 3 if you click up here. Go back and watch those to see how we got to this point. So I've been on vacation for about a week and a half. Took the family over to the Carolinas, had some fun. And as you can see, this thing, it sat outside the whole time because I don't have inside storage for it, which I don't think is that big of a deal. But as you can see, it's collected some mold, and I'm excited to get back to work. So on the list of things to do today, so I've already cut the handle slots. I need to cut the boxes still where my hand will actually go into the log. But right now what I'm really focusing on is making sure that this end ends up being the same diameter as this end, also trying to get the same kind of shape. Now I did start working on this before I actually went on vacation, and one of the things that I found was that it was very difficult to put the log at a 45-degree angle. As you can see right now, it's sitting on the sawhorses, but it's sitting on the handles, which is super stable. But if I need to get the draw knife in at like a 45-degree angle, it makes it super difficult to do. So I did some research, and what I found is basically I'm going to make a roller style table. I have 4 of these. I'll have the Amazon link to these things down below. It's like a 2.5-inch thick, or it's just a heavy-duty nylon roller. I think they're rated for like 2,500 pounds a piece. Obviously way overkill for this, but I wanted to be able to dissipate weight over a large area on a plastic wheel, not a metal wheel. So I'm going to make the adapters so I can start rolling this log as I work on it, and then we're going to start shaping the ends, and I'll probably cut the box handles today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pieces of 2x6, and this is just a temporary kind of fix. If I end up building these logs, I'll probably build like an incremental pegboard type thing where I can just set these wheels in and tighten them up. But just to get this log done today and to test how well the rollers work, what I'm going to do is use a 2x6, and what I've done is I've spaced these apart so that when I put them on the log will have enough stability to stay in this cradle and be able to roll, and it will also allow me to roll it. So basically trying to get these as far apart as possible to where the wood from the log doesn't impact the wood from the 2x6. All right, so now that I have 2 of these created, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some some deck screws, and I'm going to put one on this sawhorse and one on this sawhorse, and then what I'll end up doing is I can space the sawhorses apart to appropriately accommodate where I want it to spin. So I'm going to obviously be spinning these ones on the outside because I've already cut the handles. We'll see how this goes. I hope that it's able to. My concern is that the log will just kind of roll off from it not being exactly squared up or whatever, but we'll see what happens. And here we go. Whoa! It works! Holy crap! So it's going to take some micro adjustments here and there, but she works pretty stinking well. So what I'm going to start with is I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. Like I said, after being away from it and it being outside for a week, things are a little bit dirty, and then I'm going to measure my ends, figure out where exactly I'm going to be taking material from. And what I can tell you is I'm pretty sure this side is just barely thicker than this side. The log's going to end up being like 11 inches, almost right on the money. So just make sure it's nice and round over on this side, and then I got to taper this side down to match this side, as well as round it all out. And I am just tickled that this works this well. It's a little bit sticky here and there, but that's because the log isn't exactly round yet. So I think this will help a lot with identifying where round is and where material needs to be removed, and helping make help make this log freaking amazing. All right, so sometimes when you're working on things, things get out of hand. So I was wailing away at this handle cavity, and one of the chomps had like this crunchy noise with it. So I pulled the axe back and I took a look, and this is what had happened. Now there's no impact point from where, because at first I thought that I had like hit the side of the log, but you can see here like I still have some distance before he would do that. So I think this is just a testament. I don't know why I did this, because I normally don't take this route, but when I bought the axe, they didn't have the nice Fiskars one that I wanted in stock, and so I was like, oh, instead of just buying like a similar one that was a better brand, I just bought like a $10 axe from Tractor Supply. So that's what happens, and I can literally like twist this thing and it's going to come apart if I keep doing it. But I went to the store, bought me a new axe, got the one I want, the Fiskars X15. What I've been looking at with this is basically I need an axe, but I don't need like a 30 some inch axe. I just need like a 23. I actually wanted a carpenter style axe, but this one I think will work just fine. Plus it comes with a convenient carrying handle. All right, welcome to day 2 of this video. So yesterday what I was able to do is I got the log mostly rounded back down to a point that I'm actually fairly happy with how well it turns, how centered everything seems to stay. There's still some imperfections there, but it's significantly better than it was, and really I'm just gonna kind of do that because draw knifing gets boring after a while. So I'm gonna do that kind of like as I feel like it. So what I did yesterday is I broke an axe, bought an axe, and then I made these handles, kind of like the cutouts. My intention is to go about 8 inches down. I'm kind of pulling that number out of my rear a little bit, because basically what I need to do is I need to be able to get the handles for this mounted halfway between the top of the log and the bottom of the log, which is going to be right about 5.5 inches. And I want to make sure that there's enough space that I can like reach in and like really get a good handhold. Now 8 inches is probably deeper than I need. However, I think it's just a good number to go to. I think Slater logs are right at 7 the last time I measured one. This one's a slightly larger diameter, so going to 8 inches doesn't seem like that big of a deal. So yesterday I used an axe to do most of the cutout, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a chisel and a hammer, and I'm just going to try to level out and square up the bottom of these handle grooves.
I will get up there and make sure I never will return. Never ever will return. Oh yeah! Make sure I never will
Alright guys, so that pretty much concludes it for this episode. This has been a ton of work. It's actually occurred over a few weeks worth of time. But basically what I have squared up ends. They're still not exactly square, but I plan on shimming when I actually put the plate post on there because I'm not cutting through that again. I've got the handles put in, and for the handles I ended up just using 1¼ inch oak dowel rods, and then they're set in there and glued, as well as immobilized with these 1/2 inch dowel rod pins that go back through the handle and beyond. So outside of that, it's just a lot of cleanup work, so it has some mold on it from being kept outside. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it into the barn now and start to just kind of work on fit, finish, some aesthetic type stuff. I got to figure out how I'm going to make the pins. I still haven't quite thought through that part of it yet. But that's pretty much it for like forming. So like I have a functioning log. It weighs 148 pounds. It is a very proud thing. Like I've never made a log before, but the fact that it cleans so nicely, it presses so nicely, it definitely looks like one of a kind, but it's my first log. So this has been the practice log. So now I can get started on the big log. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that watch these videos every week. And remember, when it comes to your garage gym, you should always keep it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I'll see you next time.